little silver boat from the sparkling sea. There comes a little story floating down to me. Early one morning, the sun arose and looked out over the land. Oh, it looked still like winter in some places. Dark and gray. Spring had not yet come. Where was Lady Spring? And then the sun saw her, sleeping cozily, snoring away in bed. And so as the sun woke up and rose up, he called out, "Wake up, Lady Spring, wake up, sunlight, sky bright, spring is coming soon." Well, Lady Spring got up. She rubbed her eyes and she stretched her arms. And she looked around and saw, oh my, I think that I should go for a little walk today. And so she put on her spring gown and began to walk along. And as she walked, grass began to grow, and the earth grew greener and greener and greener. And soon things were beginning to look just a little bit greener. But then a cold wind blew and sent Lady Spring back into her cozy bed and under the covers. Well, the sun rose again the next day, looked out and saw that she must have been walking. There over the hills were covered with green. But the trees were still bare. And so the sun awoke her with a song. Wake up, Lady Spring, wake up, sunlight, sky bright, spring is coming soon. Well, Lady Spring woke up. She rubbed her eyes again, yawned and stretched. And she looked out and said, ah, yes, it is time again for my walk. I will go walking. And as she did, and she walked by the trees, they began to cover themselves with beautiful green buds, like a little mist of green in their branches. She walked and walked, and as she walked, tiny little flowers appeared in her footsteps. But then a cold wind blew again and sent Lady Spring back into her bed. Well, the sun came up the next day, saw that spring was definitely starting, but that there was much more work to be done. And so again, he called out, but this time a little more firmly. Wake up, Lady Spring, wake up, sunlight, sky bright, spring is coming now. And Lady Spring got up. Ooh, she rubbed her eyes, stretched her arms. and decided to go for a very nice long walk. As she did, flower bulbs popped out of the earth. More tiny little flowers grew in each of her footsteps. Tiny creeping phlox and baby's breath covered all the hills and the meadows with their beautiful color, like little stars upon the earth. Shy violets grew. Maybe you've even seen buttercups. And Vinca, everywhere she went, became covered with beautiful blossoms. And the sun looked out over all of it and was happy to see all of the world in color. Storyteller, storyteller, thank you for the story. Hi, so one thing that we're going to do in case we have to have a lot of time away from each other is we're going to work on making a little Lent and Easter garden. This is something that parents and kids can do with things that are around their house. And so I'm choosing this because I know some people don't have some of the things that Waldorf schools often use in their crafts, like roving wool and beeswax and things like that. So I'm just using things that you can probably find even without going to a craft store. So a Lenten garden and an Easter garden takes a few weeks to make. You just add little pieces to it all the time. And I thought that what we would start with today is pressing some flowers and some leaves to later on glue onto some eggs. And we're also going to make some little carrot top starts. So let's start with our little leaves and flowers. You saw in my story that I used some violets that I found in my yard. So we're going to just open up a book. I have chosen Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring because it's nice and big. And here we'll go. We'll just put them down in here. We're going to pull off as much stem as we can because the stem makes them kind of flip over on the page. Just leave the little petals like that. I also found some other beautiful leaves. I think these come from buttercup plants. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it has a beautiful shape. And these are little violet leaves. They're in the shape of hearts. That will come in handy later. So we're just putting some things in here. Here's some little clovers. I'm sure they grow around you too. That's a little wild strawberry leaf. I'm not sure what this is, but it's beautiful. And then we just kind of fold the page and we'll add a little more. See what's growing around you. Maybe there's some vinca flowers. They're a little purpley blue. Maybe you have violets too. Maybe you just have some leaves like this. Those are beautiful too. So we would press all of these and save them for later. I think you can do that. I'll press the rest later. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make some little carrot sprouts, hopefully. And how you do that is you use the tops of carrots. This is how I store my carrots, and they last for quite a long time. I get them in bulk, and I put them in a little bit of water and keep them in the fridge, and that keeps them nice and crispy. So we're just going to cut off the tops about a ½ inch or so. And you want to have some of this brown area showing. So I'm going to look for some of my carrots that have that. And we'll just give this a try. It may work, it may not. But now is the time to try new things, isn't it? Here's a little smaller one. And an extra. Now what we'll do with these is we just add a little water. We don't want to cover them up completely, just a little bit. And when the water gets dirty after a day or two, you can empty it out and add new water. And we're going to put these on the windowsill. There we go. And those can grow in the sunlight.